Hompa is the new short film by Dear Straight People that investigates the party scene within the gay community. But what are the struggles of producing such a film? In this episode of IMO, we discuss with Sean Foo, the founder of Dear Straight People, about how and why he makes such content for his audience.
Before we even went into production, I showed it to like a few people, a few industry veterans.
Yeah.
And they all said the same thing. They were like, Sean, this is a 4-day shoot. They're like, no, let's do it in 1 day. To me, even though I'm not like throwing my money, I still see it as a passion because the amount of money that you make from it is really not justified from the amount of effort you put inside. The fulfillment that I get from filmmaking is on the next level. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's just really.
It's like only if you do it and you feel it.
Yeah, you must do it first. Then you're like, oh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of In My Opinion. My name is John.
Hi, my name is Sean. The energy is too much for me.
Hey, cannot. That's our intro, iconic intro.
I know,
Anyway, welcome to the show, Sean.
Hello, I'm back again.
Yes, that was a bit after 3 years. Who you are first?
I'm still Sean. I'm still the founder of Dear Straight People, which is a LGBT media platform based in Singapore.
Okay, and recently what happened?
So earlier this year we produced Getaway, which was Singapore's first BL web series. Then today, on 15th December, we just premiered our first ever short film, which is called Hompa.
Perfect, and that is what we will be talking about today. Okay, so for those of y'all watching, right, we are Overthink SG everywhere, right? We are on Twitch, we are on Telegram, we are on Spotify, we are on YouTube, we are on TikTok.
But not OnlyFans.
Correct. You are the good.
I know your intro, I watched your videos.
This is what Lester always say.
I'm being Lester. I'm filling in for Lester today.
Okay, perfect. Let's jump into the Lester prepared questions proper. Okay, first things first, right? I want to find out a little bit more about this short film because you did mention you did the BL series, ma.
Yep.
Right, and then now you venture into short film. Like, out of curiosity, nothing to do with whatever we prepare here. Is it like with a different crew or same crew of people or
different crew? Completely different team. So what happened was that Getaway was quite successful. We got quite a lot of views, and basically what happened was that actually while Getaway was airing, one of the sponsors of Getaway is called Fabulous Me. So they are party accessory company. So they but for Getaway they were not the main sponsor. Okay. So Getaway had 8 sponsors. One of them, the main sponsor is called the CM Hotel, and then we had 7 other sponsors.
The location sponsor was also
right. So Fabulous Me, they were not the main sponsor, and I think they saw the very positive reception that Getaway got, so they wanted to have their own thing. Right. So that's how Hompa came about, because they're a party accessory company. So basically, in terms of when it comes to filmmaking, what script I come up with depends on the sponsor.
Okay, fair.
So since they're a party accessory company, I came up with the idea for Hompa. And I also felt like this was a unique opportunity to tell a story that you don't really see in gay media, because Hompa is not your typical boy meets boy narrative. Right. It is not a love. I mean, there are romantic elements, but that is not the focus.
Okay. So then also you explained to me over dinner about how Hompa is not, in my head, right? Hompa sounds like a golfing term.
A what?
Like a golfing term. You know, par or whatever. No, but apparently it's not, right? It's like
no.
Yeah.
Actually, it just
what is Hompa?
Home party.
But they drop the T lah.
Yeah, gay people lazy.
One syllable, just minus just minus.
Drop the T, so it became home party, became Hompa. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll dive into the questions that we have prepared proper. Okay, so the first one, right? What is the reason you first started DSP, Dear Straight People, right? And what pushed you to eventually do this full time, which is now?
Okay, so Dear Straight People started when I was in my final year of university. I think the biggest mistake that I made with uni was that I made friends with all my seniors.
Why is that a mistake?
Because by your final year, they all left.
Also, no like peers.
I didn't have peers because I studied uni in Monash in Melbourne. Oh, okay. So it was a bit different from, I guess, how it works here lah. You're not same year with everyone. So most of my friends were seniors. So actually by my third year, like a lot of my friends left. And partly it was also during that period where I first came out to myself.
Okay.
So for me, I didn't. My journey to accepting myself was quite long. It took about 10 years. Then I didn't really accept myself until I was like 24. So when Dear Straight People started, it really started as a blog on WordPress.
Like your own.
It was my
personal
Avenue
thoughts.
platform. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So if you go back to like the first few articles, it was
Not helpful kind. It's just.
no, it was a bit bitchy, and it was just like it was just for me to blog lah. Like
Okay.
it really wasn't anything serious, and just to show how not serious it was, right? Like literally for the first 6 months, right, there
Yeah.
was no social media, no Facebook page, nothing.
Right, and that was the era
It's
of
just
Facebook.
a WordPress blog, and that was the era of Facebook. So it was really just a WordPress blog, and then I happened to do a coming out story of my first interviewee, and then that went viral, and then that was how it started.
That's when
the
you also
momentum.
got the idea that like maybe this could be a thing.
Yeah, like then I kind of got the idea. Oh, actually, this can serve a greater purpose. You know, like this platform.
He said that while raising an eyebrow, so you know it's real. So then the conversion to full time, how did that happen? Give us like the TLDR, because I'm pretty sure this is a long journey.
Yeah, so I mean, I ran Dear Street People for about 7 years before I decided to do it full time. But obviously throughout that 7 years, it has always been something that was on my mind. Right, and I think like even my ex-boss is surprised that I stayed at his company for so long. But yeah, I think for it has always been something on my mind, and I think what happened was that Getaway really raised the profile of Dear Street People in many ways.
Right.
So actually, ever since we published Getaway, Dear Street People started getting a lot of inquiries and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it was also during that period of time I was just like, I feel like if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it.
Right.
So I decided to take that leap of faith, and I quit my job in Bangkok. So I decided to do it full time. And now it's like generating money to be sustainable lah. Like I have money to rent office, hire interns, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I think that it's also starting to pick up momentum now. So in a sense, like, how do you know when? I don't think when you're doing entrepreneurship, you don't really know when you're ready. You just have to dive first,
and then figure it out.
And then you figure it out on the way.
And also hope for the best.
Correct.
Very real. Very real. Okay, so do you ever think that DSP would be profitable? Or was that ever like something that you just hoped for and then never expected anything?
For me, profitability was never an issue. So Dear Street People has always been profitable because I keep the cost so low.
Fair. It was just you, right?
It was just me
and your
and
WordPress.
and my WordPress, and like when I'm writing articles, there's no cost involved.
Fair.
It's just a lot of time lah. But when I do a big project, I don't do it unless I have a client or sponsor on board. So technically, I'm not spending much money on Dear Street People. It's really just a time-consuming thing. It's the amount of time that you put into it. So for me, profitability was not the concern. It was more like sustainability, because I'm not young already. Yeah. So I always compare what I'm earning now to what I would be earning if I was working a full-time job.
This is a recent development.
Yeah. So for me, when I decided to do it full-time, it's not about profitable, because it has always been profitable.
Yeah.
Like the money has always been coming in.
Yeah.
But it needs to be an amount where
can
live off it lah. And I think that's the tricky part. So for me, it's more about the opportunity cost. Like my target is always, obviously, I would hope to earn more doing this than if I were to go back and do a corporate job.
Right. But then again, how do you weigh that against your satisfaction for what you do? Because I think that's what you mean by the opportunity cost also. Right? Yeah.
So I think obviously now that I'm doing my own thing, obviously I'm a lot happier, but at the same time I also need to you need to, because I'm not getting any younger, right? So you need to consider cost of living, that kind of stuff lah, right?
Right. And Chinese New Year cannot buy new clothes, then how?
Then I cannot, a lot of things to consider lah. Like basically, I'm not young anymore.
Okay, fair.
So once you hit a certain age, your expectations of salary, everything is higher also. Right.
And your lifestyle changes also.
It's not like when I first started this report, I was literally still an intern. To me, at that time, like even if I get 1K, wow, it was a lot of money. You get what I mean?
I just want to follow.
Understand,
As
you grow older, you progress through. Your expectations change.
Then like when you, in terms of like getting clients, do these happen usually through cold calls that you do, or do they approach you because of the things that you've done?
It's mostly inbound. Yeah. So actually, even right now, I'm not really doing any cold calling.
Oh, nice.
Which I should lah. I told myself I'll do it properly next year.
When you can find a sales intern.
No, cause now Hompa was a very big project that took out a lot of my time. Then straight after Hompa, we have a talk show that's coming out. So we have these big projects, and cause right now I'm a one-man show, so I have to do everything. So
and you have to finance everything.
Not say finance lah, cause these there are clients behind this.
Right.
So they are the ones financing the short film, or they're the ones financing the talk show. But that's why I'm not doing any cold calling at this stage, because I don't have time to even if I take on a new client, I don't have time to go and do your content. You know. So but I think down the line definitely is something that I need to do. But in terms of clients for this role, it's mostly inbound.
Okay, I got a next question for you. Okay. Will be, what was the biggest struggle, right, when you got your first client? Which I'm assuming is an article
many
client, right?
Yeah, it was an article.
Yeah.
Biggest struggle, I don't think there was a. So my very first client was like an underwear company, and that it wasn't struggle because they approached me lah. So it was. But like
no difficult person POC to deal with.
No. Actually, right, one thing that's interesting is that all my clients for this role are quite chill. I also don't know why, but I've been very lucky so far. Like all my clients are very chill. Even like they're all. Yeah, they're all very chill lah.
Have
and
well managed expectations and stuff like that lah.
Yeah, and also partly cause when you're working for yourself, you're in a position to say no. Like if I feel like someone is being a bit too difficult, then I'm just like, you just
right,
sorry.
Right. If you weigh the pros and cons, you can just reject lah.
Yeah. Cause I mean, we have dealt with difficult clients before. And
for sure.
Like, unless you're paying me a lot of money, I'd rather not deal with you. You know.
Okay.
But I've been very, very fortunate. So basically, I've never had a difficult client with deal straight people. Okay. In my other aspects of my career, like like
that one we cannot say no because we don't own the place.
Correct. We don't own the place, so whatever client come in, we have to do.
Yeah.
But for this role, no. And even my first client was very chill. And I mean, the article did well. I remember the article was viral. But no, there wasn't really a struggle with the first client.
Then in that case, now the question becomes, right, because now DSP is more established. Has the attitudes of clients changed? Have they become more demanding, or are you still riding on that luck that is chill?
No, I'm still riding on that luck.
Wow.
But I also feel maybe because clients see me as an underdog, they know I'm not a big company with 10, 20 people behind me. So I feel like that's where that attitude comes in. Like they're quite chill with me also.
Right.
You know, it's different when like they know that you're doing well and you have like.
Then that's when they get demanding.
Then I think maybe that's when the expectations come. And maybe also because I guess with more established clients and stuff, the budgets are higher lah, so expectations are higher. Yeah, so maybe for me, my cost is not very high lah for them.
Soon lah, not yet lah.
Hopefully lah.
Hopefully soon. After Hompa, you all better go watch. Okay, next question I have for you. Okay, would the Getaway, right, which is your previous BL series, right, would it have been possible if it were to be done in Singapore?
That's a very tricky question. But I would say, honestly, I would say if I tried to do it the same way that I did it in Bangkok, I would say no. Because basically how I went about filmmaking was very, very unconventional. So most filmmakers, basically, you have the support of like a production company or streaming giant or you do fundraising lah.
Yeah.
For me, I did corporate fundraising. So basically I approached a lot of companies and then I...
Almost like a uni project, is it? Like corporate fundraising? Is that what it is?
No, not really. So basically, the more amount they there's like set amounts for different tiers
of sponsorship. Is it? Oh, no. It's like those sports event.
No. Okay, wait. I don't know how to explain. Okay, wait. Okay. Let me phrase this again.
Can.
So it's easy for you to edit also.
Okay, can.
Okay. So I think the way that I did funding for Getaway is very unconventional. So basically, it's done through corporate sponsorship. So basically, at the highest amount, they will get product placement for one scene / 2 scenes. So the more scenes you have product placement in, the more money you have to pay. And then that's why it affects my script actually. So a lot of people don't understand that I'm not in a position to just write whatever I want to write.
Right.
So depends on what sponsors I have. Depends on how much they're paying, and then what the deliverables are. So with every sponsor that I get on board, there's a certain deliverables to deliver.
Right.
So for Getaway, when I first pitched it was pitched as a holiday themed drama.
Yeah.
So I was able to get it partly because this road is a Singapore brand. And then a lot of the companies in Thais, they were looking to attract Singaporean visitors.
Oh.
So that's why the hotel sponsored.
That's why the main sponsor is the.
That's why the.
Oh,
main
interesting.
They were looking to target.
I didn't
Singapore.
think about that.
But if I tried to do it in Singapore, then number one, a lot of the Singapore companies would not want to be part of this. So if you notice, most of my
conservative.
Because number one, back then, the climate was, I think, because I did talk to a lot of companies in Singapore, and a lot of them, like, their first question is like, oh, is this legal? Like, are we allowed to do? Because technically, Singapore has media censorship laws regarding LGBT content. What?
Okay, I do not know what these laws are, but okay, I understand. Yeah, that would be what you're worried.
So they have that concern, and number two also, I think when it comes to the LGBT community, Singapore companies in general are not willing to spend as much, because filmmaking is very expensive.
I can imagine.
Even though I did it on a budget, right, it's still a lot of money. So the amount of money that they will have to pay for that is quite a significant sum lah. And so a lot of Singapore companies would not be willing to pay for that. So I was able to do it with Getaway because being based in Bangkok, I could sell like, okay, we could target Singapore customers, that kind of stuff. So that was partly how it got the funding.
Because there was also a market that kind of like the sponsors identified lah.
And also in Thailand, they're more, to them, LGBT pride marketing is like, it'll be part of their budgets lah.
Right.
Because when you're allocating your marketing budget, you need to decide like how much amount goes to media buying, how much. So in Thailand, I guess a lot of companies will allocate a certain amount to the LGBT community. But in Singapore, I don't think that's not a norm yet lah.
Yeah, definitely not lah.
They see in Singapore, they don't really want to spend money.
Right.
When it comes to the LGBT community, you know. Yeah, that's why even Pride Month is not a big thing here yet. But when you go to like Bangkok during Pride Month, it's like everywhere. Like it's literally everywhere. You walk in a shopping mall, there's like huge rainbow flag everywhere. So it's a very commercialized in other parts of the world, but in Singapore it's still like getting there. Like, I think more and more companies are starting to do it, but it's still not a very big thing yet. Wow,
so interesting that in Singapore, before we properly market to the LGBTQ community, we already have queer baiting for products and shit. Which is strange. But people gotta stop that. Okay, very cool. Okay, next question that I have for you, right? So, how was then the new short film Home Pa, right, conceived? And this is the difficult question that you say, question 5. How is it different from the messages of the Getaway?
So Home Pa came about because basically, Getaway was sponsored by 8 different companies. So the main sponsor was the Siam Hotel, and the one of the sponsors was actually called Fabulous Me. So they're a party accessory company. So I think seeing the very positive reception that Getaway got, Fabulous Me also they wanted to do more lah. So I pitched them a few ideas, including this short film. Cause as a party accessory company,
what better way
story I can come? It has to weave it in
a party setting,
in a very organic way lah. Right. Like when you're watching the film or whatever, you don't want to feel like you're being advertised to it. Yeah. Right. So for Getaway, like okay, it's set in a hotel, it's very natural. Yeah. So for this one, it's a home party lah. That's why people are carrying the fans, right?
Okay, makes sense.
So that's how I pitched the idea, and I also saw it as a very unique opportunity to tell a very unique story because when you're in a party setting, it's a very different type of setting that you don't see in a lot of BL dramas, for example. So in terms of like the messaging, I think I always say Getaway was made for straight people. So it was published during Pride Month, and it was a very like typical boy meets boy narrative, and then the main character, which was played by me, gets kicked out of his house for being gay. You know, it was very like, I think
the typical romance narrative
that pander to straight people. Like we are trying to show them, okay, these are the struggles that gay people are going through. So and it was published during Pride Month. So I always say like Getaway was written for straight people, but for Home Pa, I always say it's a story for gay people. So it aims to promote inclusiveness within the LGBT community, especially the gay community, because I think sometimes it's not easy being in this community. And I think a lot of gay people will be relate to that.
So maybe you want to give our audiences that haven't watched by the time this episode come out a brief synopsis of what to expect for Home Pa.
Okay, so Home Pa centers around a character called Fab, who is played by Aiman. So the character of Fab is someone who is brown, plus size, and genderqueer. So in essence, he's basically the minority within minorities, right?
Truly
a minority.
Wow, all the minority card.
So with Hompa, he attends a private home party, which are populated by guys who are different from him.
Okay.
Basically, I guess more guys who fit that more conventional stereotype of gay men. Like
so everyone looks like a Greek god.
Yeah. So that's where the drama and the thing comes in. So basically, Hompa follows the adventures of Fab over the course of one night as he attends his first ever Hompa.
Yeah, so you better go and watch. Sounds intriguing already. Okay, the next question that I have for you. Okay, so like how would you compare the struggles you face, right, producing Hompa as compared to The Getaway? Because then again, this question is a bit interesting because one is a short film, one is a series.
Oh, to me, there wasn't much difference between.
Oh, really?
It just means that Getaway was filmed within 2 days. Hompa was filmed in 1 day. It's just a shooting duration, but in terms of the stress level, it's the same. I think the main thing different was that for both, I was the producer and writer for both, but for Getaway, I was the actor.
Right. The main lead.
The main lead, but there was a director, but then for Hompa, it was my first time directing.
Right.
So I think the main difference and the main challenge is the challenge between acting and directing.
Okay.
Right, makes sense, right?
Yes.
So,
they're vastly different things.
Very different things. Very different things. Very different set of challenges.
Yeah.
And both are completely new to me. So, I for me, right,
regardless, kudos to you for choosing client projects to try these things on, but okay.
Now they put it that way. But they're very different in different ways. So I think for acting, I feel like the thing about acting is that it's a very spontaneous thing. You cannot really prepare for it. It's like and also because we're filming on a very tight schedule. So it's for me, I'm someone that likes to be prepared. I like to plan everything first. So I think that was the challenge for me for acting, like leaving everything to chance. And also because we're on such a tight schedule, we don't have a lot of takes per scene. So in one of the most emotional one of the most emotional scenes that we had, which was in episode 5, the breakup scene, right? I remember like we did one take. After the director came out to me, and I knew from his face that I did a very bad job. And he came out to me and I was like, Sean, we only have one more take before we lose the sun.
And was that it?
So that was it, because I was that stressed, so it looked like I was about to cry, and then that happened to match my character at that scene, like, cause he's breaking up. So okay lah, but that was the kind of situation that I was dealing with.
Then Hompa same
Hompa as a director also very limited takes per scene, but this time suddenly like I'm in a situation where like I have to direct the actors, then I have to direct the crew, and then a lot of things are new for me. So I mean, for me, like I'm educated on YouTube and masterclass, and you can be you can.
I mean, masterclass is a good place to be educated.
It is a good place, but like on set is very different.
Okay.
You can learn as much as you want online, but on set is very different. So for me, they're both very challenging in terms of acting and directing.
Right.
As for which one is more challenging, I think it's about this. It's just very hard to compare.
So what would you say, like, in terms of directing, right? What was the number one most like challenging thing that you encountered?
Directing, I would say, because we didn't have, so we rented a venue to film the Hompa, and we only had I only had the budget to rent it for 1 day, so shoot day, which means that before that we have no rehearsal. So you can so what I did with my
intense.
So what I did with my actors was that every week we will rehearse, but we rehearse over video call, so they know how I want them to say certain lines. So, but then once you're on set, suddenly new environment, then suddenly like, okay, I know, like cause like, for example, we set up lighting. To set up takes a bit of time, so it's not like, okay, we film this scene, then you have to, when let's say you want to film another scene, right? It's like another amount of time to tear down and then set up again. So for me, it was having to like basically I think on my feet throughout the entire shoot. So I think that was, I would say, the biggest struggle, because we didn't get the chance to rehearse or block out the actors, block their movements, everything I had to kind of determine on the spot. Wow,
this is very guerrilla filmmaking.
It is. So that's another issue that when you're doing low budget filmmaking. So basically, finding crew is also an issue. For me, finding cast is not the problem. finding crew is an issue because not everyone wants to work with you on such circumstances.
The notion already sounds tiring.
Yeah, because honestly, right, like for Home Pa, right, the script, because I did before we even went into production, I showed it to like a few people, a few industry veterans.
Yeah.
And they all said the same thing. They were like, Sean, this is a 4-day shoot. Some people say it's a 3-day shoot. They're like, okay, 3-day shoot is manageable. They're like, no, let's do it in 1 day.
Clearly social media has infected your head.
So I think that it's just a matter of you have to compromise a lot. And you have to really like, I mean, technically as a director you should be more I guess particular about your vision and everything. But because I was under such circumstances, I would just, as long as we get a product out, it's good.
Right.
You get what I mean?
I understand.
So
and also because it's your first foray into
it's
this.
my first thing, and you learn a lot lah. Definitely it was a big learning experience. Both for acting and for directing. Like I feel like if I get the chance to do it again, I think I'll definitely be much better. And also because I've always been doing it under such stressful situations, so I think after a while you get used to it lah.
No stress, not fun, is it?
Like, hey, suddenly there's too much time to film this. Now do what?
Can go for second break. Wow. So would you say that you do prefer how challenging it is? Because like it sounds like a small part of you, right, actually does enjoy the fact that, right, it is tight.
No, I do not enjoy that. I do not enjoy that. It's more like the fact that I have nothing to compare it to.
Oh.
So I think if you are someone who like go into filmmaking the proper way, you have started out at the proper film set, you see how they do it, and then maybe you're used to it, and suddenly someone asks you do what is supposed to be a 4-day shoot in a 1-day shoot, then you cannot. But for me, I've always been in this situation.
Right.
So I don't have something to compare it to also. So I think in the sense that it's good. But as for like whether
may not be sustainable lah, is that what you're trying to say?
Not saying it may not be sustainable. It's more of the case of like I hope that one day I don't have to go through this lah. Like keep going through this. I hope the day will come where I can do a film or do a series and not constantly think of the budget or be constrained by shooting time. Like I have time to work with my actors, get the emotion, or as an actor I have time to really like, and I'm not feeling like getting rushed all the time.
And that is the day you will know that you are no longer small time.
That means I've made it, guys.
You're big
that
time.
means I've made it.
Yeah, so y'all better all go and watch.
Yeah. Please watch, cause if Home Pa is a success also, then more easier to get bigger budget.
Next time, big time, right? Okay, perfect. Okay, I got one last question for you before we end off this section proper. Okay, so not one last question. Sorry, I missed out this second last question. Do you wish that there were more queer media in Singapore? And are you worried, right, that it might cut? Are you worried that it might cut into a already very small pie? Oh yeah. Do you wish that there were more queer media in Singapore? That means besides the straight people, right? Are you worried that it's already a saturated space, and then if more people come in, it will eat up space for other people, for the original people? You know, what's it like?
No, I get where that question is coming from, but no, I'm a big believer in queer media representation. I think especially in an environment like Singapore, we definitely need more of it. So I feel like it's only becomes competition when you view it as competition. But if you see it in a very healthy mindset, I feel like the space is already so small. So I always believe we should try to help each other. Okay. So actually, for example, for Getaway, one of the sponsors is Action for AIDS. They produced Singapore's very first gay web series. People
Never
like us.
Before. It's called People Like Us.
And they did 2 seasons.
It's on
YouTube.
Watch.
So they actually contributed to the funding for Getaway. Oh. Yeah, and now they're fundraising for season 3. So I'll help them with the publicity for season 3. So to me, it's like, we help each other. Right.
But that's a non-profit, is it? It's
they are non-profit. Right. So, but at the end of the day, like for example, if you want to see it as a competition, like someone is eating into my pie, then to me that's just on you lah. But I think a healthier way, because having gone through this process, AFA having gone through the process to produce people like us, I'm sure they know how difficult it is to get the support and the funding needed for LGBT projects. So like it's really so hard. I feel we help each other a bit.
Yeah, and also not say the queer community in terms of media representation is very big yet.
Yeah, it's in Singapore it's almost non-existent. Yeah. It's not like for example like BL dramas like Thailand. Do you know this year there were about 200 BL dramas this year alone? So that's about like 15 BL dramas every single month. Wow. So even though my shows are free, right, it's like hard to get the attention. You're just trying to get people to click on the link. You know? You're not even asking them to pay for it. Just go and click and watch.
Wait, this is internationally or?
Internationally, but majority of them are coming from Thailand. Yeah. So for example, Thailand is like it's a very saturated space there, I would say. But Singapore is it's like one project comes out every few years.
Yeah, that's true. I think in terms of the queer media in Singapore, they're still finding footing lah.
Still finding footing, cause there's no support system right now lah. So you and filmmaking is expensive lah.
It is. That's why I've always wondered like how you manage that budget, because like to get a competent crew means like all the money go there.
So I mean, the bulk of the budget will always go to the crew.
Yeah,
and that is where like the fundraising comes in, no. That's why I need sponsorships. Cause like a lot of people actually thought like I put my own money. But
yeah, I also thought that.
Like I don't have so much money.
I thought like you combine with whatever sales you make, then you just
chuck it in.
Yeah, like those idealistic artists.
No. I'm a very practical guy.
Okay.
I'm a very practical guy.
Fair. Okay.
But at the same time, also not. When it comes to filmmaking, it's hard to earn money lah. You know. Yeah. So I to me, even though I'm not like throwing my money, I still see it as a passion lah, cause the amount of money that you make from it is really not justified from the amount of effort you put inside.
Yeah. Fair. Okay lah, but I mean it does make contributions to the community as a whole lah. Especially you mentioned about how Hompa is more for the gay community.
Yeah,
right?
it's a story for gay. It's a gay story for gay people lah. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so one final question before we end off today's episode. Okay, what do you wish? This one quite philosophical lah. What do you wish for the queer media scene in Singapore in the future?
I hope that one day the queer media scene will become very normalized in Singapore. Like you'll see LGBT content on TV or like even maybe one day, you know, our state media will produce a BL drama. I think that will be.
Has there never? Okay, no BL drama per se. Has there been any? Just random question. I just thought about it. Right, state media, has it ever represented queer people properly?
Only negatively.
Only negatively. Okay. Sadly, we have not passed that. We're still in the 90s, so I guess.
I hope that. I mean, like, cause you know, I was living in Bangkok for quite a while, and seeing the media, like seeing how flourishing that media space there is, like I hope that will one day be Singapore lah, you know.
Wow. So to any young aspiring queer filmmakers, maybe filmmakers first, man. What would you want to say to them?
What I want to say?
Queer ones, especially.
Queer ones. It's a lot of hard work. But I think that at the end of the day, wait, no, let me think first.
Okay, no problem. This one I spring special.
Yeah, you spring on me. I never think.
No problem. This one is meant to be a bit tough. Because being a filmmaker is really tough. Not to say that if you're a queer filmmaker.
I think in Singapore, being a filmmaker is tough.
For sure.
Right, it's very tough. Not just, correct. It's not just for queer people. But I'll say, okay, for aspiring queer filmmakers, just do it lah. Just do first, worry later. That's always been my motto. You do first, you worry later. You know. Don't care so much about what people say, or because at the end of the day, I think, as long as you feel like you put in your best effort and your conscience is clear and the intentions for creating a certain story or whatever is well intended, to me lah, there's the satisfaction of seeing what you write come to life is nothing like I've ever achieved before. You know? So I mean, this we have produced a lot of viral content over the years, but the fulfillment that I get from filmmaking is on the next level. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's just really.
It's like only if you do it and you feel it.
Yeah, you must do it first. Then you're like, oh. Then now I understand why like a lot of filmmakers get addicted to this. You know, they don't earn any money, but they keep like throwing all their shit into this. So now I understand. So I'm becoming one of them.
Basically, you're telling all these new aspiring people to just go in and get addicted.
Go in. I think to us, I think at the end of the day, if you manage to make a film, right, even if it's a short film, it's a huge achievement. And that's something that you can always, whether you make one or two, then you stop. It's fine because you make something. It's something that you can always call your own, and like as long as you're happy with it lah. Then I think it's a big achievement lah. And at the end of the day, I think life is all about experiences, and I think filmmaking is a very unique experience and one that can be very fulfilling if you're into that. So for all the aspiring queer filmmakers, I would definitely encourage you to try, and if you need support, you can always write into Dear Straight People. I'm definitely looking to expand my scope of content, because you know, as a cisgender gay man, there's only a certain amount of stories I can write.
True.
Like recently, I was talking to like a lesbian friend. She's also in the TV industry.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, I'll be So she was saying, oh, she hopes to see like a GL drama from Singapore one day.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, yeah, I also hope so. But as a cisgender gay man, it wouldn't be right if I wrote it. And she was like,
Right.
yeah, you cannot write. So I think for queer filmmakers, if you have a good story you want to pitch, feel free to write into Dear Straight People, and I'll try to find a way to make it happen lah.
Nice.
I mean, after all, Getaway, when it happened, it was really like it was my New Year's resolution actually.
Right.
That's how it started. It was just a New Year's resolution.
Other people cannot even lose weight. He produced BL series.
But yeah lah. So I mean, to be honest, like last year, if you ask me, would I have been a filmmaker, I'll be like it's not even on my mind. Then suddenly I do this one time, and then now I have a short film. I really enjoy the whole process, and I hope that I can continue to do it, to make better projects, and hopefully one day not do it on such a tight schedule.
Basically, get good. Okay, any final words before we end off the episode?
Thank you for having me again. Please do go watch Hompa. I think a lot of people work very hard to make it happen. It's not just my project. A lot of the actors, they basically I think a lot of them, the actors, the crew, they work very tirelessly. We also have a behind the scenes vlog coming out next week. That shows like really how hard we work lah. And yeah, so just I think every view counts. We need the views, and I think that if Hompa is able to also get high views, then it will also encourage other companies to come on board, and then I can start to tell more stories, and that will be one way to, I guess, increase queer representation in Singapore.
And especially now with the change in the law, definitely require a lot more representation in a non-negative light to whoever produces those, not saying who, but you know who you are. Well, okay, thank you once again, Sean, for being here on the episode with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this little sharing Sean did. Please go and check out Dear Straight People, and go and watch Hompa. More importantly, maybe you go and watch Hompa first before you go and check out Dear Straight People. Yes,
watch Hompa first. After that, if you like it, you can watch Getaway.
Okay, thank you so much everyone for being here. Stay safe, don't get COVID. Bye.